How's it going, y'all? So I figured I'd make a video letting y'all know what my goals are for 2026 and potentially give a brief overview of 2025 for me. In my last couple of videos that I recently did, I guess on this epic comeback to YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what I feel like I'm on. I did already kind of give y'all some updates and stuff on what's been going on with me and stuff like that. Really, I think you all, if you really want to know, you should look at the video I released before this one. It was entitled something like "I Quit Health Science Mostly" or something like that, right? Essentially, the last year, okay, really as of now, it's November. Yeah, the last year, I just kind of just took a complete break from health science, you know what I'm saying, from training science, from working with a lot of clients, okay? Well, partially because I became the top selling personal trainer at a gym I was working at, and I had a full roster of clients, and I left that facility and and about half of my clientele, mostly the ones I've been with for several months to several years, they decided to jump ships with me and on their own terms voluntarily. And I was given the okay by my general manager. He told me if they want to jump ships, they can. You know, which is interesting because that was like a quarter of the gym's income at the time because I was so good at what the fuck I do. They jumped ships with me, basically. They left, but they all had contracts, so they had to train there with other trainers for like another month or something. But anyway, I doubled my income while working half the hours. So, and they already knew all the shit, you know. I didn't have to worry about explaining things too much. But anyway, so with that kind of, you know what I'm saying, like I just kind of like went away, distanced myself from taking on new clients and stuff like that. I had actually got a number of, people from this channel reaching out for consultations and stuff like that. You know, and Zoom consultations are a great way to make remote income and charge a high hourly price. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, where I was going with all of this, you know, and most of y'all already know I have a client-first approach where my main intention is just giving y'all the most accurate information possible and helping my clients and helping my people in the most genuine and authentic way possible. Never is the intention to make money off of people, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, a lot of people cannot be helped. But with all that being said, at that point, I said, fuck all this shit. I need a break. You know what I'm saying? Because just, oh my God. And, you know, I helped multiple people lose, 40 pounds in 3 months. Some of them, 140 pounds in 14 years. 14 months. 140 pounds in 14 months. Okay, a 56-year-old woman. 55, 57, I think she's like 57, 58 now. You know what I'm saying? Her son lost 100 pounds with me in 12 months, and multiple other people losing 30 to 60 pounds in something like 3 months. So, and y'all already know on this channel, y'all already know the protocols I basically use. And I said the specific protocol in a previous video. Answering one of my subscribers' questions, he asked me what the most efficient way to lose body fat is. And I laid out my protocol, man. It's really hard, you know what I'm saying? But when my clients are under my tutelage, the motivation and assurance and affirmation and reassurance that I give them that, hey, look, you can do it, and if you stick to it, you're guaranteed results. That's what carries them through, and they get amazing results with me. But yeah, you already know animal-based nutrition and only the hardest of hardcore training. Again, let me just say this, man. Like most of these gyms and the personal trainers, they're not informed to, educated to, or built to get their clients results at a baseline. Unfortunately, I see a lot of those motherfuckers' clients, they don't go very far. You know what I'm saying? A whole year training with a lot of these trainers and they don't look any better. A lot of times they look worse off. So let alone losing 40 pounds in like 3 to 6 months, losing 100 pounds in 12 months. But anyway, so the last year really, since like September-ish. I mean, I took a whole break off work in general. I just stopped doing everything. I did a little bit of like personal training, but I always have like, passive income coming in, so I didn't really have to worry too much. It's funny, motherfuckers, like, they think it's a big deal, like, oh, like, you're losing your job at a commercial gym, oh no, you know what I'm saying, like, that sucks for you. It's like, actually, no. I slept, went to the gym, you know what I'm saying, and I slept, went to the gym, and began a serious phase of interviewing spicy, beautiful, sweet Latinas for my ring girl. I was like, nah, I'm on to the next one. I was over that phase of my life for a long time. I was ready to leave. You know what I'm saying? I like, it's just funny to me. I was living my best life. I was like, well, shit, I still got money coming in. You know what I'm saying? Paying the bills, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Eating a bunch of good food. During that time was when I did switch over to the what I called the Mongolian warrior diet, where I was eating 5 pounds of chicken quarters a day. And I did an experiment where I switched from honey over to like white sugar as my main kind of like for my ginseng elixirs, because the amount of ginseng I take, there's a potential possibility of bringing your blood sugar down too low, and especially because I trained so hard throughout the day, I needed something with the ginseng to prevent me from getting hypoglycemia. Now, that's not a fact, an absolute, but that's just a hypothesis I have. But anyway, and a lot of people will grill me, but I've already talked about this experiment, motherfuckers. The only way to know is there a difference between honey and white sugar is to actually test it, okay? And let me say that energy-wise, like it felt a little bit less consistent than the honey, but it seemed okay. I was still on cloud 9 as far as energy was concerned from the white sugar experiment. Ray Peat people, right? Ray Peat people think white sugar is a damn health food, but and so does Durian Ryder and those damn Raw Till 4 vegan people. But the main problem is I actually felt like I got sick for the first time ever. But I've talked about this before. I also was working like every night as a bouncer, and they had me just standing up the whole time. They wouldn't allow me to sit, and I was still training full time, training jiu-jitsu, doing all sorts of heavy zercher lifts. My back was hurting all the damn time because they made me stand the entire shift as a bouncer. That's like the worst thing, because if someone gets rowdy, gets violent at the bar, and I have to escort them out, I don't want to be just tired from standing. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason to be standing. My job is to like protect the place. It's so stupid. But anyway, so I think I got sick because it would be overnight shifts, no fucking sleep, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't able to eat consistently. I wasn't able to eat throughout the shift. So I was lower on, so I think that's probably why I got sick, to be completely honest. But it only, it only lasted like 4 or 5 days. So I was really exhausted from that schedule. But anyway, where's it going with all this? So the white sugar experiment, so what I'm saying is like, yeah, I cut some expenses, you know what I'm saying? Like, I only ate the bare minimum, 5 pounds of chicken quarters. That's a great thing about carnivore. And that's something that really made me feel so inspired for life is when I started the carnivore diet back in, when was it? November 2018. I fucking realized that all I needed was meat, and just seeing all these crazy things that people are doing for decades, surviving on, just basic pork chops, conventionally raised basic pork chops, chicken legs. Like, there's people that only eat pork or only eat chicken on the carnivore diet for decades, and they're fine, but red meat's praised as superior, so it's like, man, for me, I've done all sorts of things, survived on nothing but like potatoes, survived on nothing but fucking white rice at one point. I think it was Dr. Kempler's vegan diet. He supposedly reversed diabetes and all these things. But so I've done the raw fruit, like just mono meals, just nothing but bananas every day. So I've done a lot of crazy diets, and I'll tell you, out of all the extreme diets that I've done, where you just survive on one food type of shit, the chicken quarters diet. Okay, not only did I felt invincible, if I'm being honest, although I do feel like I was lacking something, potentially like calcium or some factors relating to, bone repair or something. because I was noticing more like sprains or something, like in my specifically, I think, like, yeah, I just felt like maybe my joints or my bones weren't healing as fast. I don't know, but I think that was placebo. I think because I was just training like an idiot. I was just going hard all the damn time, probably. And there was even a really pretty elderly Latina MILF who gave me a great massage on my shin to help me. That felt great, and I felt good after that. That's all I need, you know what I'm saying? But it just lights my DNA up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, where was I going with that? Motherfucking Wolfgang Columbus up in this bitch. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm gonna get canceled. All right. All right. What was I saying? All I'm saying is, I was good. I didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I had all this passive income coming in. I didn't gotta work, motherfucker. Never had to work, motherfucker. All these other motherfuckers, like, like, oh, if they lose their job, it's the end, right? But for me, I was like, fuck that shit. So I spent like an entire month just like taking a break from everything, just like recovering, relaxing, going to the gym and stuff. And I was trying to find, well, what gym should I like join now? Which one has the most pretty Latinas? The most pretty Latinas and is the most accepting of my hardcore antics, right? Because I prefer to just be feral as fuck. That's why I like, especially in a training or a gym environment. Obviously, I can be professional and civil, as you can tell from a lot of my YouTube channel, mostly my older videos. I've been less filtered the last 2 years, but so yeah, join a new gym, scout out different gyms. You know what I'm saying? Interviewed a bunch of Latinas. And then I was also just looking for different sources of income, different jobs and things to see what would fit my lifestyle the most. So I want to maximize the amount of money I get per hour that I work, and having a job and a schedule that interferes the least with my training. So around that time, I believed I released a video. I know I recorded several videos talking about this, how to get your money on check, right? Because that's been a big focus the past year is, career finances, getting money on check. And, I bought like 4 of my dream cars, but I'm probably going to sell 2 of them and just focus on building up like my favorite 2 as much as I possibly can and make them my main cars. And I'll probably buy, another one on the side, or I might just pimp one out, but I'll get into that in a bit. And basically what I was talking about in that video, or talking about getting your money on check, is what you want to do is, and this is just easy, like at a baseline, the 2 most important things. The first important thing, I mean, they're all important. The first important thing I think is, and this is the easiest one that most people get right off the bat, get yourself some kind of like part-time, stable paycheck job that pays a high amount of money per hour, and it's like got a dedicated schedule that without fail, you have those days for working, and that paycheck will always be there. And preferably it's a job that is not temporary contract based. It's like, you're going to have that job for a long time, right? And that will probably be the most monotonous work, right? But at the very least, it's the one that will always pay the bills if you need it, and you will not have to worry. And when I say you don't have to worry, what I mean is, it's not subject to the ebbs and flows of the economy and other bullshit. Government shutdown won't have to, mess with you, or anything else, or even like COVID. During COVID, I worked security all the way through because security was in higher demand during that time because all the office buildings were being, deoccupied and shit like that. So I was getting paid more, getting paid more per hour, and I had more job opportunities during that time. And one of my friends at the time, who I have an interview with him, he beat leukemia, using a ketogenic diet. Leukemia Slayer, that boy was working security. He was getting paid like $40 to $50 an hour because of all the overtime they let him work. And he worked armed security. So he was getting paid, like, when he showed me his paycheck, I was like, holy shit, motherfucker. Boy was getting paid so much overtime, For me, it's all about, and it's just crazy to me. I don't know how people can't see these things, and a lot of people say it might be IQ. I don't know. Guys recognize these patterns without thinking. It just, I look at it and I'm like, oh, there it is. It's problem solved type of shit. But what was I saying? Yeah, so he was getting paid $40 an hour. Like for me, yeah, making smart moves, Okay, so some shift in the economy or political landscape happens that affects jobs, how can I capitalize on this and come out better the other side? That was actually what made me start personal training at a commercial gym. I never needed to do that shit. I had independent personal training for, for a long ass time, for years, independent clients, all that shit. So what did I do? The economy, whatever, the damn COVID happened. I was making like double the money through security at the time, and I still had like independent shit going on. And then the damn economy, the damn COVID ended, and all the trainers were leaving their jobs because they felt like commercial gyms would be shut down and no clients wanted to join training. So I was like, oh, cool. So that means there's going to be a surplus of clients. All these fucking clients with no trainers? Oh, I guess I'm going to have to go and take your clients then. So that's what the fuck I did. And it was crazy because I started working at LA Fitness immediately when gyms opened up. And they're like, oh, we need trainers so bad right now. I was given a full schedule of clients. I think I had 20 clients, and they all had all these training sessions built up, that were unused because LA Fitness does their things by contract. And so they were obligated to pay the bill even when the gym was closed, which is kind of fucked up. So I had some clients that they had hundreds of sessions still. And I was like, what the fuck? And not only did all these people have all these sessions built up, their trainers had quit because they just lost faith in the profession from COVID. But also all of these clients were even more motivated to get in better shape because they knew the outcomes, the health outcomes. Like the healthier they are, the least likely they are to die of COVID or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, but when I see some shit like that and I see everyone freaking out in society, get this overwhelming obsession with trying to figure out, well, how can I prevent myself from, being, affected negatively by the same shit all these crazy mainstream humans, average humans, are being affected by? How can I be immune to the shit that is killing off these average humans? So what did I do? I did all this research on, what are the main factors involved in making you susceptible to the symptoms of COVID? You know what I'm saying? I wanted to find what nutritional factors, supplemental factors, training factors, anything that we could use to make ourselves immune to COVID, to where we won't even notice any symptoms if we catch it, right? Because that's really what you're looking for. It's not a matter of like, oh, will I catch it or will I not? Because you will come in contact with the virus. What you want to look for is how can I make my terrain, right? Terrain theory, look that up. Search that up right now. Terrain theory versus germ theory. Germ theory is just, there are these germs and viruses that can take hold in your immune system. Terrain theory is how robust is my immune system and how can my defenses neutralize the germs that I come in contact with. Everyone focuses on the germ shit and then tries to do the vaccines and shit. So anyway, so the great thing about that was when my clients came to me, a lot of their goals was, I just want to reduce these risk factors for COVID because my uncle was in the hospital and this and that, and he had high blood pressure and this and that, and the doctor said that that's why he got COVID, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh great, well just so happens I'm one of the most well-researched people on this topic. Here's all the things that have been shown to increase your risk of COVID susceptibility, blah, blah, blah. And here's how we can change it. Here's the nutrition protocol. Here's the training we're going to do, And so that's what I was doing. I took advantage of COVID, man. That was crazy. But, of course, the commercial gym landscape is just bullshit, depending on what gym you work for. So LA Fitness, man, when you start off, you're getting paid like $6 per half hour. And you might only do a half hour at 10 a.m. and then you won't have another half hour client until like 12 noon. So you're really there at the gym the whole day, hardly getting paid. But luckily I was able to, I limited my schedule and I was able to fill my entire schedule, and I was bumped up to master trainer real quick, became the number one selling trainer at that location, and got paid a lot more. I got paid, like $30 a half hour because I got commissions and shit like that. So there were some days I would get $50 to $60 an hour working at LA Fitness, just depending on the client's package. And I had some clients, man, I had a client who'd be flying out randomly. I don't know what he did. He said he did like social media marketing, but he'd be flying out on planes randomly and have to cancel sessions sometimes. But he'd come back and pay me like $100 tip. Like, anyway, I'm not gonna say too much about that because that was a little suspicious. But so where's I going with all this? So that's, I was, yeah. So the past year, man, what I'm saying, just focusing on stacking my money and stuff like that. And so for me, I had bigger goals than just like working at a damn commercial gym, so getting pushed out the commercial gym, it was really, I felt like doing that months before then. And I still had my clients come with me. So yeah, what I'm saying, working as a bouncer and, looking into other security opportunities and shit. Security's at least where I live, because you have to understand financial gain is kind of dependent on where you live. And I think a lot of people, they live in places where rent is just crazy, and they don't get paid enough, to live within their means and all this other shit. And really just most people are irresponsible with their fucking finances. For me, I know at the very, very least, I can always just survive on 5 pounds of chicken a day. And really 5 pounds is overkill. I could do 2 pounds of chicken a day and be fine. I would just get really lean, Most people are fat as fuck anyway. It's just insane to me, man. Cause I made a video about this before. Money problems and health problems can easily be very linked. If you're low on money, and you're fat or have like diabetes and shit, they're diseases of energy excess. It's very, very easy to conquer both your health problems and your fucking finances in one go. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do, chicken quarters, my boy, my girl, whoever the fuck I'm talking to right now. It's like $5.80 per 10-pound bag. And the thing is, a lot of people that are watching this channel have restrictive beliefs on health. They're like, oh, that's so unhealthy, like grain-finished, conventional chicken, blah, blah, blah. It's like, motherfucker, you're going to be poor and, like struggle that way? Life is so much easier when you just say, fuck it. Because really what you want to avoid is the white rice or the excess carbs. Like, I have a client who got something crazy, like for the government shutdown, the food bank gave him like 50 pounds of potatoes, and my client was like, yeah, I'm not going to eat these, and I'm going to give this to, whatever. But, they're like, I'm still going to eat meat or whatever, not eat the potatoes, what I'm saying? And that's the thing. And I'm like, look, so like, what's the easiest way to navigate this? Eat very, very little, but only like a quarter pound of like grain or grass finished organic beef a day or something, or what? You're going to just continue buying, the high amounts, the expensive food that you were before. So yeah, it's like people don't use their critical thinking to make life better. It's not a matter of what's the best option. It's what's the best move for the greatest good. And so for me, I always look for that shit. It was so easy. I felt great. I was like, yeah, I don't really feel like I'm dying from eating this shit. I felt like more alive. If anything, that 5 pounds of chicken, man, it was hard to eat. And I did 1 meal a day, especially alongside, either the honey and the ginseng, which is more expensive, or the white sugar. I just got so much calories that were, giving my body everything it needed per se. Although the white sugar, I would say opt for honey or something like that. Or if you could digest potatoes, is probably a better option for carb source, but you don't need it. You don't need it. Really, just the 2 to 5 pounds of chicken quarters a day is amazing. But anyway, where was I going with all this? I don't even know. Yeah, it's liberating. Yeah. So what was I saying? So a lot of people, man, so yeah. Anyway, let's get back to this. So what was I getting? So get yourself a part-time job that pays a shit ton of money per hour, and it's a stable paycheck job. On top of that, you should have some sort of passive income in the background. This might come later. Passive income, so you can invest in renting houses or Airbnb. You will always have rent paid and stuff. It's just hard to manage because people break appliances, they'd be damaging. You gotta be the property manager or whatever. You could also outsource that, pay an employee, but You might get random calls in the middle of the night, shit like that. But it is a great source of income. I have a friend who I have a couple friends actually in the trucking industry, and they just buy a couple trucks, and they'll either hire employees and contract it out to different companies, and they'll be making money from those trucks they own, or they can rent the trucks out, or they can just buy their own truck and use that truck themselves and go on these long trucking drive jobs, right? And they've been making a lot. Like I've heard per truck, people can make anywhere from 6 to 12,000. I think they said per week, something like that. I know there's a lot of miscommunications around this profession because people don't understand the difference between owning a truck, contracting it out, or owning a truck and renting it to people, or owning a truck and having your own employees, or not owning a truck and just having a CDL. Like a lot of people don't know that. Now, I wouldn't be able to do trucking, but it is lucrative, renting out Airbnbs, all this stuff. There's ways of generating passive income. Another thing, a lot of motherfuckers, there's a drop shipping. I had a client who was telling me he's going to be a millionaire from drop shipping. I don't know how he's doing with that because I cut ties with that fool. But my mother became I don't want to go out on record saying whatever. Built a $1 million business from the ground up, from the eBay boom, just selling started off selling random grab bags from Goodwill for $5. She'd find little Hot Wheel toys and shit. Some of them she was able to sell little Hot Wheels she'd find in the $4 grab bags from Goodwill. Just a random junk bag of used toys. She would sell some of those toys she found in there individually for $500 because she'd find rare stuff. Or she'd just be able to sell each Hot Wheel individually for $5 to $10. So she'd always make her profit back. But a lot of times, she would definitely double the profit, but a lot of times it'd be more like quadruple or more of her profit by taking the grab bag she bought from Goodwill for $4 to $5 and then selling it individually. And eventually she was able to make $1 million business off of selling handbags and shit like that. And yes, she started in 2004 or whenever because my grandmother, her mother was dying of cancer and she had to work from home. And so that was a side hustle she did alongside still working in insurance and stuff like that. And so my mom is a very kind-hearted woman. During that time, she also always tried to help other people. We had family members or family friends and stuff who would be down on their luck, and we tried to house them, and she tried to get them back up on their feet. And I learned from watching all my life, my mom trying to help people, that most humans that need that type of help, unfortunately, do not use that help to catapult themselves and come out better the other end. Usually they stay lazy, they stay broken. And a lot of times you help them out for a year, and all the promises that they said, I'll get back on my feet, I'll get my job on check, all this shit, they come out the other end worse than they came in before. So anyway, and my mom, that's how she is, she's always giving money, donating money, trying to help other people, putting other people first. But anyway, where was I going with all that? So those are just examples of passive income, right? So have your stable paycheck job, so you'll never have to worry about money. Cut your expenses for a while. Do the freaking Mongolian warrior diet I mentioned before if you need to. 5 pounds of fucking chicken a day, comes out to around, whatever. For 30-day supply, that's like $90, But most people only need 2 pounds of chicken a day or something. So if you think about it, under $5 per 10-pound bag of chicken, a lot of people can make that last, a bag a week or some shit, man. You'd be living on under $30 a month. There's so many innovative ways to cut expenses with food. And while you do that, build up your side hustles, have the passive business, passive income, and then have entrepreneurial pursuits. Try to build a business that you can pay off at the very minimum your rent plus double what your rent is, right? So if you have your stable paycheck job and you have your entrepreneurial pursuit and you're able to build your entrepreneurial business, right? So if it's personal training, that's really an easy hustle. It really is. It just takes you stop being a freaking lazy bitch, you know. Get out of your shell, learn how to market, and talk to people, and be persuasive. But you have to know what you're doing. A lot of it's like giving people results, and you can back your words up. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I was going to say, this video is going to be completely different from what it came out to be, but whatever. And yeah, using personal training, nutrition consults, whatever kind of coaching services, you know, there's a lot of different entrepreneurial pursuits you can do. But if you can make double what your rent is, okay, provided you don't have a bunch of bills and debt to pay and shit like that, which most people should stay out of that shit for sure. Most people it's not necessary, you know, but you're gonna be great, you know what I'm saying? And then the thing is, and what I also like is 2 stable paycheck jobs, 2 different companies. Because the thing that I've always kind of tried to aim for my whole life with everything is, how can I win? And even if I lose a battle, I still win the war. Like, always winning, right? In every aspect. If I freaking lose my job at one company, you know, how can I make it so that, I lose my job at one company, I still have all this income coming in, so it doesn't really affect me. You know, and it's funny, with the gym thing, just working half the hours and doubling my income from clients from that gym. Pretty insane, right? Pretty amazing. I came out winning without even trying, like winning on that. Not to mention I didn't even need the money from those clients at the time. So just kick back and chill, because there was a whole like 2 months where they were still fulfilling the rest of their contract. But you know, anyway, that was kind of a mess, just because some of the trainers I gave my clients to were. Anyway, where the fuck was I going with all this? But yeah, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's about, no matter what happens, you know, like a lot of these motherfuckers on here, they're like crying and complaining about, you know, there's not enough jobs, and money's hard and all this other stuff. And it's like, maybe, but you know, like, you'll never find me crying. I'm always like, well, shit, how can I take care of this? Like, my brain goes into problem solving mode when shit like that happens, you know. But where I live, like, rent is not hard to pay. And, you know, like, you just got to work within your means type of shit. But so for me, I got to the point where, you know, entrepreneurial pursuits, you know, multiple businesses where I make way more money than I need, and then stable paycheck job with companies that appreciate their employees and always have work available, and it's reliable and consistent. And the job duties are easy, and they don't take away from your normal lifestyle, you know. And then obviously having sponsorships, right? So I've been able to network with a lot of high value people that make a lot more money than I'll ever make, right? Pretty much all of my clients and my closest friends make at minimum $200,000 a year, actually, which really opened my mind to realizing what a lot of money actually is. You know, all of my best friends make at least $200,000 a year. It's just a natural thing that happened. And all of my clients too. Most of my clients make over $500,000 a year. But it just depends on who we're talking about. But anyway, and with that being said, these are usually a lot of times people who really care about high quality humans that are authentic. And I found by creating authentic relationships with them, a lot of times they'll voluntarily help me out and support me. And so I was able to gain sponsorships through some of these people who I connected with on a close level, let them know, hey, this is my vision, competing and doing all this other stuff. And so they're able to support me financially with, you know, and sponsor me for tournaments and stuff like that. So, you know, it is just interesting. Like, money can be provided to you through a lot of means that are not so obvious at first, right? And I think that this is where affirmations are very powerful. Like, every morning you affirm to yourself your main vision, and it allows your mind's eye to be more open to these opportunities, and these ideas randomly come to you, and you'll start to see a lot of the unseen things that the average mediocre society does not see. And that goes for health, right? Like, how the fuck was I able to never get COVID type of shit? or like be affected by COVID, because I caught it like twice because I was training in gyms with other people that had COVID actively. But the difference was I hardly had symptoms, if anything. I had a scratchy throat, a little bit exhausted in the background, and I tested positive and then negative like 4 days later. And I wasn't really, and everyone else was taken out for like 2 weeks. They're all fucked up. Feel like they were dying and shit. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing. When I say superhuman health and all this stuff, that's really what I mean. It's like building a robustness where it doesn't matter how long you go without sleep. All these biohacking fucks, that they just are so obsessed with sleep. They wear those damn sleep trackers, Oracle Ring, all of these things with the damn heart rate variability. That's just hurting y'all. It's just changing your perception to where it's making it harder for you to perform at your highest. What you need to do is find methods, approaches, nutrition protocols, stuff like that, and mindset variations that promote high performance regardless of your sleep, regardless of, of all of these things. And when it comes to training, if you are feeling fatigued, because I know best working overnight, dangerous security security management, non-disclosure sites, stuff like that, where, I had to be alert the entire time. It's hardcore work overnight, sometimes like, 12 to 16 hour shifts. Coming into training, you can't just say, fuck it, I'm going to go hard or go home. You got to be able to adapt on the fly. And a lot of people are too stubborn for that. They're like, well, if I'm low on sleep, I just won't go. For me, I'm like, look, let's do some technique. Let's do some flow rolling. I almost killed myself working 16 hours overnight. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Because what's the alternative? You're going to just say, fuck it, some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail. Walk through the fire and flames, bitch boy. That's only going to get you injured. You know what I'm saying? That's not the robustness I'm talking about, being a fucking idiot, okay? Being super low on sleep and then driving 12 hours is a very similar comparison. You're very likely to fall asleep behind the wheel and get in an accident and die. That's so stupid. So this is not some kind of be a tough guy type of shit. And a lot of people mistake that. It's just so sad, man. Maybe it's an IQ problem. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So where we're going with all this? Adaptability and robustness, man. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I don't know what I'm going to title this video because I just kind of went off in a weird direction, but I'm probably going to post it, man. Yeah. So I believe, if you get into you need to set your life up, set your finances up, all of that stuff, through, networking with the right people, having the right kind of energy and reputation with the right people in an authentic and genuine way. Obviously, manipulations for insecure fucks with no real value. Providing real value to people, setting your career up, your finances, all of that stuff, to where, you're, no matter what happens, you're mostly going to be okay. And just making sure you maintain, your stable paycheck job and then your entrepreneurial pursuit and or passive finances. You need completely different sources of income coming in. Your stable paycheck job, which is reliant upon a corporation, and then your passive income or entrepreneurial pursuits, because technically passive income is usually entrepreneurial in general, but that way you lose one, because you're kind of you have to obey the corporation's rules and schedules and shit on one hand. But with the entrepreneurial thing, there's a lot more flexibility because you're in control, right? So it just really makes things easier, gives you some leeway, and even if you can't pay your bills, I'm saying 1 month, it'll catch up somehow. But I don't think I've ever had trouble paying bills, actually, which is crazy because of all the shit I've gone through since, you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of other things I can talk about too, and I'll just kind of briefly mention them. So if you really want to get advanced with all of this stuff, you could get, getting your relationships on check, depending on where your finances are, okay? You could potentially find yourself a partner that cares so much about you that they say, don't worry, baby. I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you get yourself a girlfriend who says, don't worry, baby, I'm going to support you in your goals and I'll make sure we're financially good as long as you stay focused on crushing your goals and your vision. You know what I'm saying? That's a level that most men are just never going to be able to achieve, unfortunately, and that's fine. You know, and that's a sign of genuine love and care by a female. Okay, that's something that, you know, I guess is deficient in our society. But having a female who cares so much about her man, and what is attractive to the female is the man's ambition and vision. And she says, we're going to make it through no matter what, baby. You know what I'm saying? You do your best, and I'm going to do my best, and we're going to make it through. You know, and I'm going to make sure that you crush your goals. Okay. And I've had 2 girlfriends in my life that were like that, but one of them was more ride or die down girlfriend than any other. And she set the standard for me as to like what type of girl is worth my commitment. She showed me the value of a truly loving and caring relationship, because before her, I was stone cold pimping before her, you know, and I didn't see any value in relationships or anything, you know. And then being in a relationship with her for 5 years, you know, and I wasn't, you know, whatever, made me realize what the value of a truly loving and caring relationship is all about, you know. But of course, I was nowhere near where I wanted to be in life, and I had to figure myself out. And she also had some big life goals she needed to conquer, so jointly decided that, you know what I'm saying, it was better to go single. And absolutely, that definitely was what we needed. At least I know on my part, because after that relationship, I skyrocketed every aspect of my life. You know, it's hard, and that's another thing. I'll have to make another video about this. I know a lot of people want to hear this. I've talked about this many times before. I think it's important to get your own life on check before you start to bring other people into the dynamic, because a lot of like relationship problems and stuff like that, struggles and stresses in relationships, a lot of them are caused by two factors. Number one, interpersonal issues, right? So just like flaws in our personality and flaws in our approach to dealing with other humans, right? The second thing, and really that comes down to impatience and a lack of emotional control. The second part of that is knowing where you want to go in life is very important. A lot of motherfuckers don't know where, especially men, they don't know where they want to go in life. And they bring a girl into that dynamic. And you're confused as a human being who you are and where you're going. And so you have a ship and you invite a girl onto your ship and you don't know where the fuck you're steering that damn ship. And what happens is you'll chaotically sink that ship over and over again. You'll run into rocks and shit and bust holes in the ship and all sorts of stuff. And it's just a constant like breaking the ship and repairing the ship and just never knowing where you're going. And the girl's in the background. She can't necessarily consciously describe what's going on, but I mean, this is really how it is. But she knows, like, you know, like, are we meant to be? Are we going on the same direction? Like, are we, you know, like, what are we doing here type of shit? You know what I'm saying? And there's always this kind of like force, this like, but we love each other. We went through all these problems together, but we love each other type of shit. And it's like, yeah, I just realized getting your life on check and knowing where you want to go in life is number one. Okay. And you should always start with that as a fundamental. So a lot of the best kind of relationship advice motherfuckers out there, what they preach is genuine connection, authenticity, building real value in yourself, learning how to communicate that value, but getting your own ecosystem of positive emotions on check, right? That's at a baseline. Because when you finally find a girl that you really, really like, the main thing that's going to not just attract a high quality female, but keep her on your team is going to be that positive ecosystem of positive emotions and having that direction in your life, and her believing in that direction and that vision, right? Anyway, it's a whole bag of worms, lots of nuances. It depends on the human. I feel like the stuff that I talk about, it mostly applies to humans that really care about their life, that are very passionate, and want to live to every aspect of their life to the fullest, right? I feel like a lot of humans are just not alive, and I feel like my information applies mostly to people who are really alive, and they want to be and feel as alive as possible in every aspect, right? Because a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm just lonely. I want to cure the loneliness. I'll get with whatever partner accepts me. That's what a lot of people think, and that's weird to me. Like, I would not want to waste my time and fill my time with someone who's just kind of mediocre, where I don't feel like a spark of some kind. And the same thing with careers and shit. A lot of people, I'll just work a 9 to 5. I'll get paid whatever, $18 an hour, $16 an hour, working 40 to 50 hours a week or whatever it is, at a job where I don't really have to, it's just like a basic job or whatever, like working, I don't even know, what I'm saying? Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just their whole life. It's just being married to some mediocre chick they met in high school and working a 9 to 5, with mediocre duties that aren't really, doing a whole lot. And then they might watch the newest movie that comes out, doom scroll Facebook or something. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, big thing with me is it's all about, living a passionate life, all that shit, man. I don't want to be mediocre, man. And it's not about whether I'm mediocre or not. I love life, and I want to love life as much as possible. How can I maximize my love for life? That's how it is. Anyway, I don't know whatever. All right, whatever the fuck I just said in this video, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all got some value. Leave your questions and comments down below. Let me know what you think about this video, because I don't know what the fuck to think about this video. This is not the video I want to make. I'll talk to y'all next time.